Welcome in to Check the Mic. Steve Palazzolo and Sam Monson. We're live on YouTube. Very, very special show and special day. Two big things happening today. First, we're going to draft a team. That's right. Franchise draft for this season. Sam and I going back and forth. We're going to get a starting 22. No special teamers, thank God. And then Sam gets a year older today on his birthday. Happy birthday to Sam. Everybody say happy birthday.
Thanks. I'm as old as you again.
Yeah.
I got a few months reprieve every year where I'm younger than you, and now I'm back to being the same age as you.
We're a cool 43. I just wanted to give a shout out to 45-year-old Rich Hill, 45-year-old, who gifted me this shirt. That's why coincidentally wearing, gifted me this shirt when he was playing with the Red Sox. He just pitched in the big leagues the other day for his 14th team, I think it was, new record. 45 years old. Guy can't hold down a job, but he keeps going. 45 years old. So, I mean, look, we got 2 more years. We can still be playing professionally here, Sam.
I've seen you pitch. I don't think that's true.
No. I struggle. I just went for a walk earlier today for a half mile, and I'm struggling, and Rich is out there pitching. You know, we diverged in different paths after we used to work out together. So, anyway, happy birthday to Sam. Everybody enjoy some cake, cupcakes, ice cream cake, whatever you want. I'm going to celebrate later with cupcakes and cake for you.
Nice.
Sound good? All right.
Yeah.
You brought the exact amount of emotion that I expected from you on your birthday. That's perfect. It's a great start to today. All right, let's go through this concept. We're drafting starting 22, Sam. What are we doing? What are we drafting for?
Well, this year I think is the most important thing. So we're not, focusing on the future. It's not like build a team for the next 10 years of dominance. It's like you have been transported forward in time to this year's the 2026 February 26th Super Bowl. You're in it. What is the team you want to have the best possible chance of winning that game?
All right, I like that. So we're playing for 1 year here. So Derek, nobody's worried about Derek Henry 3 years from now. If you want Aaron Rodgers, go get him. If you think he's the best option. We're going to go back and forth. A starting 22, as we said, a flex player on offense?
Yes, so sort of standard all-pro looking format where it's like 11 players either side, which is 11 personnel, so 2 wide receivers in a slot or a flex guy, and then defense, same thing. You've got some kind of nickel, slot defender.
So it's really 12. Is it 12 and 12?
No, because you lose the two defensive interior guys, 2 edges, 2 linebackers, a standard secondary, and your flex player, whether it's safety or corner or slot or whatever.
Offense, though, is going to be 12. If we're going to do 2 receivers. Offense? Oh no, that's the fullback. Okay, yeah, the flex player is like, okay, it could be an extra receiver, it could be a second tight end, whatever you want. Okay, I got it. All right, man, and then we have to flip a coin to see who's going to go first. Do you have this? Oh, yeah. We had a virtual coin flipper going here so that we can draft. Then next week as we presumably get into the studio, which is very close.
Yes.
Very close. Can I tease that? Can I promise that? Is your work almost complete there, Sam?
Yeah. Me and Tyler tonight are hanging giant movie theater curtains to cut out all the light that streams through the 12-foot windows. So once that's done, we're pretty much good to go.
Awesome. So the plan next week is to go start our season previews for each team. And then as training camp news comes up, we'll react accordingly. And we'll get in, and then preseason, we get Hall of Fame game. Like, football's happening next week.
By the way, you being away, I mean, you're not the most handy of people, right? However, the one thing, and I do mean the one thing that you bring to the table is height. And that would have been useful several places along the way in this journey, and it hasn't been here. It's been, in fact, thousands of miles away.
My apologies. I know I bailed at the perfect time as everything was getting built, but I appreciate your hard work. And
yeah, you basically did what Rick Drummond did. You bailed, disappeared halfway across the country right at the time all the important work was taking place. Oh, sorry, I can't possibly help hold up this thing 8 feet in the air. You're on your own.
My apologies. Yeah, nobody knows our inside joke, but that was true. I did disappear when the hard work was ready to occur. So are you ready to go? I'll call it.
Yeah, call.
Heads.
You just got to take my word for this, but it is tails. I can show you. Look, you don't have to take my word. I can spin the laptop around. I can show you that says tails.
Oh. It is true. I guess tails never fails, except half the time. All right.
There you go. See,
I pick heads. I know there's a lot of tails pickers out there. Let us know in the chat. Are you a heads or a tails person when you're flipping a coin? I go. That means
heads. I'm picking.
Yeah, you're going.
I kind of wanted to lose this. My game plan was almost centered around picking second.
Because you're gonna when you select Josh Allen right now, the Chiefs fans are gonna be like, "Boom, they're coming after you, baby. They're coming after you." When you saw Nick Wright is tuning in right now. He's waiting. Nick Wright is gonna be. He's got the text going. He's gonna send a hate email. He is ready to go. When you select Josh Allen right now, Nick Wright is ready to pounce with all of his Chiefs fan friends.
No, what I'm gonna do. I'm going to stick with the game plan. And actually, the game plan has been helped by this now that I think about it. So I am going to select Myles Garrett, number 1 overall.
What are you doing? What are you doing? So, like, you're screwing up the entire strategy here. I'm assuming that you're just going to get our quarterbacks out of the way. But you're saying because there's only 2 of us, there's no scarcity of quarterbacks,
correct,
right? There's no scarcity. You're playing the scarcity game here. I think you and I would be happy with any of the top 3, Mahomes, Allen, or Lamar Jackson. So you're saying we can wait. We can now wait on quarterbacks. Is that what you're suggesting?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right. Who did I say was the top receiver a couple of years ago then? So now I'm up. And now I want to wait on quarterback as well. Because it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to see our order. They're just going to see our final team. What?
Nothing.
I'm going to go Justin Jefferson with my first pick then.
Okay.
You have Myles Garrett.
Perfect.
You just don't want you don't want Nick Wright mad at you.
Part of it is, look, I ranked Josh Allen as the best quarterback in the NFL the other week. People were mad at that. But like at this point, PFF, I think, had Joe Burrow as number 2, right behind Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, Nick Wright et al. Have Patrick Mahomes as number 1. And there's also Lamar Jackson, like multiple-time MVP in the last couple of years. I think at the very minimum, you can say there are 4 quarterbacks right now, each of whom have an argument to either be the best quarterback in the NFL or as good as the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, I think I just got finished watching that Netflix quarterback series from last year. And despite the Bengals, not making the playoffs, all the talk, remember, late in the year was that Joe Burrow should be the MVP. He won't be because, the Bengals might not make the playoffs and they're not winning, but he's playing better than anybody in the NFL right now. Like that. So you've got 4 guys, at which point, should you really be going out there to throw everything at, I need to get my quarterback as the first pick in this thing?
In this exercise, you're right. Like, we don't have to get the QBs out of the way. In my head, that's, how we would operate, but I can adjust on the fly here. Just to unpack really quick the top 4 QB thing. The analytics people, the nerds, are anti-Joe Burrow because of sack rate. They're generally anti. And so PFF, I think the quarterback grades of PFF are excellent. The biggest hole, though, is probably how much sacks actually impacts the grade. They do impact it, but they're a little bit more cautious about direct blame to the quarterback, which PFF does a really good job of, whereas the data suggests, it might be closer, instead of, say, 10 to 15% of the sacks that are directly on the quarterback, it might be closer to 40 or 50%, which is a big percentage, and it's pretty consistent. So the EPA numbers are generally lower for Burrow, but the PFF grades are higher. And then in this whole debate, people say, well, he has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And then on the other hand, you say, well, that guy has had a below average pass blocking offensive line every single year. I honestly don't think we've seen elite quarterback play. And I'd say Burrow's playing elite quarterback. I don't think we've seen elite quarterback play with subpar pass blocking for an extended period of time like we have seen from Joe Burrow. So I kind of get both sides of the argument, but I'd still probably have him land around 4. But I think it is a big 4 that we have established in today's NFL with guys like Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud or whatever, like right on the cusp, or Justin Herbert, depending on where you have them, right on the border of like, can they sneak in with more consistency? And in Herbert's case, leading his team to victories, which is, part of this whole equation.
And Burrow complicates it by, he's talked before about, what does it matter if I take a sack on third down, right? Like if it's third down and we don't make the play, we're punting the ball anyway, so he's at least suggested that he's playing that game to a degree that other quarterbacks aren't necessarily, right? And sack rate is one thing, and those may be a negative play that sort of gets missed in the raw or overall PFF grade, but it should theoretically get captured in, PFF WAR, the value metric, and Burrow was by far and away the most valuable quarterback last year in terms of PFF WAR. So even in that area where you're like, okay, if there's an area where the grading is not capturing a consistent negative from Burrow, it should be getting picked up by that stuff, and that still says Burrow was the best quarterback last year.
So just wanted to throw that out there, have that discussion. It is the end of listicle season, but, that was the hot topic during listicle season here. All right, man, you're up after I took. So you went Myles Garrett, I took Justin Jefferson. You're up with your second rounder here.
I'm going Fred Warner, linebacker.
Wow. I see what you're doing here.
We're going Brad Holmes. We're going Detroit Lions. We're just drafting good football players.
Just get the best players. So you're going Fred Warner because your thought process here is there's no competition at linebacker. He's the guy. He's the clearest top guy.
My thought process for drafting became quite quickly, okay, I don't think there's a huge drop-off between if it's Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, whoever you want to rank as your quarterback, and the next guy, right? So that led me, the ultimate follow-on from that was, well, okay, what positions are there a huge drop-off from the top guy to the next guy? That's the position you want to focus on to draft, because that's where the negative is if you don't get your guy. So I think between Myles Garrett and the next pass rusher is pretty significant. The next group are all really good, so it's not quite as bad. Fred Warner, though, I think is maybe the position in all of the NFL where the gap between him and the next guy is absurd. I mean,
interesting.
Who are you even putting on the list of linebackers beyond Fred Warner?
You'd have a guy like Zach Bond may have been the best linebacker in the NFL last year, but he's only done it for 1 year.
Who's 1 year removed from being like a designated special teamer who was signed for like peanuts.
Yeah. No, I get it. I see your strategy. So I'm gonna pivot my strategy. I'm gonna make strengths.
That was the danger of articulating my strategy. Is now how to game it.
Listen, once you picked Fred Warner, I told you what your strategy was. It's not like this is. Let me go on I'm going to go on a whole bunch of tangents here. When offensive linemen say you don't know the play call, you don't know what we were asked to do. Well, as soon as you down block on the 3 technique and try to climb to the second level to get to the linebacker on power, I know that the play call was power. I know that was. So as soon as you picked Fred Warner, I knew what your strategy was. I see what you're doing. You don't need to articulate it. I see it. It's been unveiled. It went from your head, came out of your mouth, and I know. Fred Warner, the scarcity of linebackers is what you're going for. Mm-hmm. All right, so what I'm doing with my second pick, I have Justin Jefferson and I have Jamar Chase next. Jamar Chase. So I'm gonna turn. Do you know what my strategy is? I'm gonna turn wide receiver into a massive strength with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase now. That's what we're doing here.
I suspected that might be the case. However, I have a counter to that counter. I know where you're going. I think that's smart. I'm more comfortable with that because having done our wide receiver rankings, recently, I think Nico Collins is right with those two. Actually, having done that little exercise, going into that, I would have thought there's a fairly significant gap between Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and a guy like Nico Collins. But actually, having watched his tape a lot last year, watching his targets, I think he's really right with those two. Assuming he comes, he's 100% healthy this year. I think I'm comfortable with him being my number one wide receiver.
Nico Collins. So that's your third pick here.
No.
Oh, okay.
Whoa there. What I'm saying is I'm okay allowing you to snag the second wide receiver because I'm okay with the third and consequently the fourth. So I'm fine with that. So I'm going to stick with my scarcity model. What's the gap between the number one guy and the next guy? And I am going to go with, actually, now that leaves me with two.
Kyle Hamilton.
Do I go? Well, either one of these actually is the same. That is.
Maybe you could get both with the next two picks.
Maybe. Well, see, both these guys are unique. Both of them, I think, have a fairly significant gap between them and the next guy. I'm going to go with Dexter Lawrence as defensive tackle.
Oh, man. Okay.
I think if you, number one, we've talked about him a lot, right? He's the only true dominant nose tackle. He's also, I mean, if you just need a pass rushing presence on the interior, he's as good a pass rusher as any defensive tackle in the NFL. But you add in the fact that you can line him up in a way that basically no other top tier defensive tackle can line up. You can put him at true nose tackle, zero technique, one technique. You can change the defense around Dexter Lawrence, and that has to have massive value, I think.
I saw it. Maybe it was one of our colleagues in NFL media was listing their most versatile players, and they put Dexter Lawrence on there. And I think that's fair. Like we always talk about him as a nose tackle, but if you chose to line him up over the guard more often, he would be effective there. Like he would, he's effective up and down the defensive line. It's just for a guy that lines up over the center, he creates more havoc than anybody we've seen. The weekly Dexter Lawrence discussion that we have here on Check the Mic. All right, so you've gone all defense, by the way. Myles Garrett, Dexter Lawrence, Fred Warner with your three picks. You told me who your next, like I could just draft Nico Collins. Now, this is that banana in the box game that you send me all the time, Sam. Some like European special show that they have. Is the banana in the box? Did you try to convince me that Nico Collins is your next receiver when it's really AJ Brown? Like obviously the next guy's AJ Brown or Tyreek Hill.
Like
if you
a
still believe in him.
You know?
Yeah. So did you try to convince me? Yeah, that Nico Collins is going to be my next pick, or was that real? And because my counter was going to be if you put Nico Collins on your list in public opinion, when we put this out there into the ether, that Nico Collins doesn't have the same impact that some other receivers have, even if it's true that he's a top 5 receiver. Like if you're trying to gain the credibility of the fans, having Nico Collins on the team, it's like, oh yeah, Nico Collins, nice receiver. They might not be thinking he's in this AJ Brown territory.
That's true.
I'm thinking AJ Brown right now, though. I am considering AJ Brown, but I'm not going to do it. So I'm going Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons on the edge. Micah Parsons is my third pick here. And QBs are dropping left and right, which is fine, but I'm going Micah Parsons, my first defensive selection here.
Okay.
Don't pick AJ Brown. I'll go next time.
The war room is ecstatic over here because
you were going to take Kyle Hamilton last time. Yeah, you were going to take Hamilton.
That's exactly who we're taking. We're taking the next unique weapon for whom the gap between him and the next guy is massive. We're taking Kyle Hamilton, and we're getting the next guy on defense who is unique, who is an absolute weapon, who can line up anywhere. And again, the gap between Hamilton and the next dude at safety, I think is huge.
That's pretty good. No, that's good. That's a good strategy. That's a good strategy that you have there. And I will go back to make a strength to strength. I will take AJ Brown with my third pick. I have the top 3 receivers in the NFL. I mean, I'm thrilled by that. My offense against your defense in Super Bowl. What are we at 59? Are we at 60? What is the Super Bowl this year? It's going to be it's 60, right? The next Super Bowl. It's going to be a great game. Good defense beats good offense, and vice versa, as they say. So I have Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and AJ Brown. Good luck covering that with your versatile team.
Who's playing the slot?
Doesn't matter. Probably Jefferson. Yeah. But Chase moves around. Good luck. Wait till I get Brock Bowers at tight end. All right. So we're 4 picks in here. If you want to do a quick reset for what you have. it's tough visually right now. So we'll try to rehash who we have, but you're up for your pick 5 here.
Okay, so I won the toss. I got to go first. I decided to wait on quarterback as a strategy. You followed my strategy, so neither one of us has selected a quarterback. I have focused on defensive superstars, the ones where I think the drop off between them and the next guy is the biggest. So I've got Myles Garrett, Dexter Lawrence, Fred Warner, and Kyle Hamilton with my first 4 picks. Your strategy has been around, let's just draft all of the wide receivers. So you've got Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, and Micah Parsons.
That's right. All right, so you're up. Where are you going, man?
Okay, now it starts to get more complicated, I think. But I think I'm gonna follow your lead for at least one pick, and I'm gonna make a strength of strength and go with Chris Jones as a defensive tackle. So now I got Dexter Lawrence and Chris Jones inside. Good luck.
I know. That's where I wanted to go next. That was the place I needed to attack. Oh man, that's unfortunate. You do have the top players at a lot of different positions, whereas I have the top 3 wide receivers.
Right.
Which I'd be okay with. I mean, if people follow my team building strategies, I've already got my flex filled as well. I didn't go QB like you did, like you also didn't, I should say. I went 3 wide receivers and an edge: Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Micah Parsons, and AJ Brown. So I'm gonna go back to the defensive line and go Nick Bosa to go with Micah Parsons. So I'm going to go Parsons and Bosa. And I'm also, as you see, I'm sticking with the high value positions right now, whereas you didn't care about that as much. You just went for like, hey, where are the best players where there's a drop off?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, this is just for this year. Just for this year.
Correct. All right. So I want to stay on defense, I think. This is one where I think there's debate as to this is. I'm pandering to the crowd here. I think there's debate as to who the top guy is at this position. I also, however, know that's not what most people think. So I'm going to go with what most people think here, and I'm going to snag Patrick Surtain as the top corner available and add him to my defense. That way, even if you snag another guy, I get at least one corner I'm happy with as a true elite top tier guy.
So you got Surtain. I see. Now I feel like I have to go. So there's a lot of corners. I don't want you to have all the top players at corner, like you have the top players at these other positions, which is very annoying.
You're letting me get a very good team here.
Yeah, I get it. So then there's this other dynamic of like, I know you're not going to pick a defensive tackle anymore, right? So we've got that other strategy of waiting. That the 2-man draft unlocks all sorts of new strategies, Sam, that don't apply to normal drafts. All new strategies. So I'm going to go. I'm going to pander to the crowd as well. And even though I think Sauce Gardner has a better track record than Derek Stingley, I don't think he has the same impact in public opinion as Derek Stingley Jr. So I'm going to go Derek Stingley as my top corner for the people. And if I come back and Sauce is still there, maybe we'll consider it. But I'll take Derek Stingley to go with Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa.
I like it. I'm going to pivot back to taking the clear best player at their position. This time I'm going to go offense for the first time. Is it? Yeah, every one of my picks so far has been defense. So for the first player on offense, I'm grabbing Creed Humphrey at center. The gap between him and the next best center, and now that Frank Ragnow is retired, Kelsey's gone. The gap between Creed Humphrey and the next guy, I think, is as big as it is at any other position in the NFL.
Interesting. Yeah, you're sticking with the scarcity theme here. Where there's scarcity, you pounce. Yeah. I'm going to go. So I look at my board here. I will take. Yeah, I'm gonna go back and take Sauce Gardner. at corner. I got Sauce and Stingley as a 1-2 punch at cornerback. Let's do it. So now, I can't believe that's your first offensive player.
Yeah.
But I get it. All right, you're up. Pick 7. Where are we right now? Pick 8 out of 22.
Yeah, now it's getting kind of interesting. There's one position that I'm sort of waiting on because it feels like it's impossible to. As soon as you grab one guy, the other guy's going, I think. I could go back to the defensive well. There's some scarcity at a couple of spots there. Offensive line is interesting because the debate, I think, amongst who the best people is going to be significant.
On offensive line? Yeah, offensive line's interesting because I think both of us are going to have a good team. A team that looks good.
I'm going to go back to the scarcity model, and I'm going to grab the only other linebacker that I think is a high-end player with some degree of certainty and get Zach Bond.
Man. So now, again, strategy-wise, like the order is going to look weird when we put this out on social because you've locked up your defensive tackles and your linebackers right now.
Yeah.
And so I theoretically I should wait on both of those positions. I'm going to go for my nickel and take Trent McDuffie.
Oh, that's smart.
So I'm taking McDuffie, and I've got my corners sorted.
That's clever. That's the first one that's like actually a blow to the opposite player because it's like, you think, it's all right, I can snag McDuffie as a starting corner, but you now steal him as a slot, and he's off the board too.
Yeah, I want to look strong there. Who'd you take right before Trent McDuffie was the question? You went. Where did you go?
Zach Bond.
Yeah, Zach Bond. Yeah. Will was just asking to make sure that he was keeping up here. So I mean, you said it's a blow, but like me, waiting now on defensive tackle and waiting on linebacker, you could wait on corner. Right, you can grab,
but I do now need an alternate plan because Trent McDuffie would have been the next corner off the.
He would have been CB2. That's good. I mean, that's good for the public opinion aspect of things when my 3 corners look that strong, and I've got I'm really strong at receiver and corner. Right, I'm really strong at at those positions where there's versatility, and I'm happy about that. Definitely happy about that. So let me see. I'm going to go.
Like, I think that's a good pick, not necessarily because Trent McDuffie is the best slot or because of the scarcity at slot, but because it's cornerback off the board.
Right. He would have been your CB2.
Yeah.
That's their team. All right, so you're up next. I'm sorry. So I just took McDuffie. You're up next with selection number 9.
Okay.
Talk through it. This is like on a game show. You got to talk through when you're Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You got to talk through your thought process for the people.
Yeah, we're tough now because positions that I obviously have needs at, you've taken. So wide receiver, obviously, I don't have anybody yet, but you've taken yours, so I don't need to go there yet. I can pick those up whenever we get to them. And then there's a bunch of other positions where neither one of us have taken anybody. But the scarcity isn't there. Like the gap between them and the next best guy is either negligible or, not as scary. So you don't want to pounce on them. This is actually a tough spot in terms of where the next guy would be. All right, I'm going to take George Kittle at tight end. This one's a coin flip because I think a lot of people. I mean the. Jeremy Fowler's annual, ESPN article where he polls all the executives and those kinds of things, and they rank players. I think they actually had Bowers is better than Kittle. I think that's kind of crazy, but those are NFL people that believe that, executives. And as long as you don't care about blocking in any way, shape, or form, you can make that case. If you do care about blocking, I think it's a lot more difficult to make that case. But my point being, there's enough people out there that believe that's a coin flip, that it's not a big PR win for me. It's just it's an on the field win.
Yeah, and we talked about that when we were ranking, listing the best player at each position. We at least debated between those two. And another elite year from Bowers, even without the blocking, it would be like the Kittle versus Gronk, Kelsey versus Gronk discussion when they were both in their prime. And Kelsey's putting up, maybe bigger numbers, but Gronk is a little bit more versatile. So I think it's a fair, healthy discussion. So all right, I'm going to go my 9th pick here. I'm going to go with my first offensive lineman. I'm going Trent Williams at left tackle. Give me Trent. You're right. A lot of the offensive line positions have like one or two, kind of like Kittle and Bowers. Like the top 2 players are healthily debated. There's plenty of good Twitter/X debates about the right tackle, the best right tackle in the NFL, and how that works, and how PFF weighs things versus who the best player is in O-line community speak. So I think our offensive lines are both going to look pretty good.
Yeah, I'm confident that both of them will be pretty good. I am, however, gonna pounce on what I believe is a slight misstep from you, and I'm going to snag Brock Bowers to be my flex player.
Wow. Okay. So you just McDuffied me.
I just McDuffied you.
You McDuffied me. You took my starting tight end. But I think I'm okay with that. I think you're, again, in the arena of public opinion, when we put this out on social, which is all that matters, social media reaction, people are going to look at my wide receiver flex and give me the virtual high five. And they're going to look at your 12 personnel set with 2 tight ends, and it's going to feel inferior to what I'm bringing to the table with my 11 personnel set.
But then they're going to get to my defense.
Brock Bowers Brock Bowers is a glorified wide receiver. But what you've done is say, maybe you get Nico Collins. Maybe you get it's Brock Bowers versus like Puka Nacua is what you're debating there. And if you had Puka there as your flex rather than Brock Bowers, in the court of public opinion, that's better. So I think you've taken a hit with your shrewd strategy of screwing me over from my starting tight end. That's what I think.
You won't be saying that when your tight end is Sam Laporta.
Potentially, yeah.
With all due respect to fellow Sam.
I mean, no disrespect to Sam Laporta. All right, I'm going to go. I got Trent Williams. I'm taking Lane Johnson at right tackle. Lane Johnson. So I think I've got the 2 best. I get the best 2 tackles. So your strategy of getting the best player, regardless of position, where there's a big drop-off, my strategy of filling in the most valuable non-quarterback positions, we're pretty complete here. 3 wide receivers, the top 3, the 2 best tackles, edges 2 and 3, and corners, I don't know, 3 out of 4. So I feel good about that. I feel like I have filled my most valuable positions to this point. Maybe defensive tackles lacking, but my most valuable positions are filled with the best of the best, and I feel good about that.
Yeah, no, you stuck with you've been very rigid and predictable along your standard lines of thinking, and that's been helpful.
I don't have a quarterback. Rigid.
Yeah, you made one pivot at the start of the draft. You copied the thing that I did. You made one pivot to your usual strategy of thinking, and everything else has been readable like a book.
I'm still waiting on Nick Wright to pick you apart. It's going to happen. You took Brock Bowers over Puka Nacua. That's what you did. I think you're going to regret it.
And I think in the court of public opinion, that will be justified.
All right, you're up, man.
All right, similar as before, I think we've got a couple of positions where I'm happy with either one of the 2 guys, the coin flip that would be. I don't need to jump on tackle because you just took the 2, so I can take my next 2 whenever and be perfectly happy with my duo as a starter. You've got 2 edge rushers, so I don't need to grab that. All right, I will grab the player that I believe still to be the best guard in football and grab Joe Thuney.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. I ranked Quentin Nelson higher than him, though.
You did.
So I think I'm okay with that. But I considered, yeah. And Tooney could play tackle for you if you could put him at tackle if you want.
No,
just saying he has that type of versatility. He has that if you want it. All right, I'm gonna go. Where is there a need that you're also going to attack? Lost my team here. Let's get back to it. Where's there a need that you could also attack here at some point? So I think I'm going to go safety. But there's a lot of players to consider here.
Yeah. That's why I didn't go safety.
Consider it safety.
Like, I could have done that, grab the next guy, put you into a bind there, but I'm comfortable with any of the next 4 or 5 safeties.
Yeah. What's interesting here is I could potentially snag one of your other nickel options. I could take one of those guys off the board. Like if I went Brian Branch and you were going to put him
safety.
But he's a safety. I mean, he's a safety / slot. I mean, it's fine. He's a safety. He plays both. But that would just take an option away from you. You could go Cooper DeJean. I mean, you could find somebody, right? You could go Kenny Moore, but you lose Brian Branch if I do that. Safety's an interesting one because I don't know if there's you're right. Like the next 4 or 5 players are probably similar, and you rotate who has the best seasons. Whereas Kyle Hamilton, definitely the clear top guy. That was your strategy. That's why you did it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go. I will go Brian Branch though. Just a good football player. Like him a lot. He's my first safety. And I've got 2 hybrid slot players. So schematically, we've got some flexibility with Trent McDuffie and Brian Branch and what they're able to do, what they're bringing to the offense here.
Mm-hmm.
That was pick number 11. So we're halfway through, man. We're halfway through. If you want to, we could reset for the people here where we are.
Yeah, and it almost feels like we're kind of done in terms of like we've each forced the hand of the other one now. It's almost like they just take care of themselves from this point on. All right. Generally speaking, I focused on defense first, so I'll start reading out that part. My defense is now Myles Garrett. My 2 defensive tackles are Dexter Lawrence and Chris Jones. My 2 linebackers are Fred Warner and Zach Bond. I've got Patrick Surtain at corner, and I've got Kyle Hamilton on the back end at safety. And then the offense that I have put together so far, George Kittle at tight end. Brock Bowers is my flex player on offense. A little bit of a wide receiver tight end hybrid. And then 2 offensive linemen of Joe Tooney and Creed Humphrey.
All right, I like it. I'll read my team before my next pick. You're up with your 12th selection here. Start filling it in. Start filling in the roster. Then we're going to talk about Jerry Jones at the end of the show.
Yeah. Are you reading your team out?
Oh, I said I'll read it when I pick.
Oh, okay.
So you make your selection, then I'll read it. Sorry for the confusion.
I mean, at this point, I think I'm just down to like either picking off some of the positions that I haven't selected yet, even though there's no pressure on them because you've already drafted all those guys, or breaking the coin flip Cold War on a couple of positions where it doesn't like there's 2 guys. Just take your favorite. So, all right, I'm going to grab Saquon Barkley because I believe in the court of public opinion. Fresh off his offensive player of the year type of 2,000-yard season, that's going to, even though I personally believe Derrick Henry is a better running back than Saquon Barkley, but I believe more people believe that Saquon Barkley is a better running back off the back.
I shouldn't. That's the strategy that I should not have verbalized, which is that it's all about social media and reaction. You would have just stuck to your guns.
That was the elephant in the room.
You would have said Derrick Henry. I was expected to have Saquon Barkley and have this explosive big play squad here with
no,
Saquon.
I mean, I would have been thinking the same thing anyway. That's the elephant in the room here is that are you doing what you think is the smart thing or what everyone else believes is the smart thing? And, this one's closer. Like I think most people think Patrick Surtain is the best corner in the NFL. I don't know if it's as clear with Saquon versus Derrick Henry, but I think at least more people believe.
I mean, I still might go Christian McCaffrey, but public opinion-wise, that would be bad. But 1 year removed, Christian McCaffrey is the clear top player. I mean, last year at this time, Christian McCaffrey is the clear top player. He's supposed to be healthy this year. And if he's healthy, it might be McCaffrey. But
the whole thing just shows you
how
don't want that. The whole thing just shows you how stupidly dependent running back is on other things. Like, people had decided Derrick Henry was declining because the line in Tennessee became the worst offensive line in the NFL and his numbers went down, right? At the same time, Christian McCaffrey goes to San Francisco and in Kyle Shanahan's, transformer magic offense puts up monster numbers. And we're like, well, it's clear Christian McCaffrey is a better running back than Derrick Henry. I don't know if that has ever been the case, ever. But the situations each one is in can make it look like that. And then, Saquon Barkley a year later goes from bad situation to great situation and goes from not even in the conversation for the best running back in the NFL to obviously he's the best running back in football. People are so bad at adding in the context to running back more than any other position.
You're an idiot if you don't believe it's Saquon. What are you even thinking? All right, I'm going to go. So I'll read off my team. Here's what we have. In order, I went Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Micah Parsons, A.J. Brown. So that's maybe the three best receivers in the league. Nick Bosa. Had my corner run, Derek Stingley Jr., Sauce Gardner, Trent McDuffie. And then back-to-back tackles, Trent Williams and Lane Johnson. And then safety, Brian Branch. The last, there's a couple more positions where we both don't have someone, but I'm going to go right guard Chris Lindstrom. So again, going from a public opinions, PFF grade has always been through the roof from Lindstrom. I don't know if hashtag OL Twitter would agree with that or not, because he might not work out with the right people, so he might not get the right publicity. But I think, what? I'll say that right to Brandon when he comes on the show next. I'll say that right to Brandon Thorne, that people talk up the people that they work with, Duke. I'll say that right to Duke's face if he stands on a chair and he could be face-to-face with me, Duke. I love Duke. But Chris Lindstrom. I'm going Chris Lindstrom at right tackle, so I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good about my offensive line here. Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
Lindstrom's a good player.
Lindstrom's one of the interesting ones. He's one of the ones where I think there is a consistent disparity between PFF grade, has him always at the top. A lot of the O-line Twitter people do not. Though Brandon Thorne, I think I snuck a peek at his rankings by position. I think he has him second, maybe third, but he's up there. But definitely those guys have always been lower on him than PFF's grade.
Is that all guards or left, right? Because I still said Quentin Nelson, whose PFF grade has been lower. I still had him as the best guard in the NFL over Lindstrom. And there is context with PFF grade and opportunities. That was right guard specifically? Yeah. So you're going to take Brandon's number one right guard?
Yes, I think so, but not his number two. So Lindstrom was 3, now that I think about it.
Oh, wow. Look at me reaching for Chris Lindstrom.
Yeah. Man, I wish there was a way of snagging Derrick Henry to ruin you, but unfortunately there isn't.
I would get McCaffrey. I might still get McCaffrey. I get run off of social media here.
Yeah. So I'm back to there's no more ruining you. It's literally just I need to start picking positions that
fill out the roster, man.
Yeah. Okay, I will take Tristan Wirfs as my offense. Left or right tackle for the moment until I see where I'm going with the next one.
You can move Wirfs around. You don't have to play him on the left side. The guy's been elite at on both sides.
Seriously, yeah.
I really want you. So, for the sake of the story, I don't want to pick the quarterback and then let you just choose the second one. For Nick Wright's sake, I want you to choose the quarterback. I want you
to force me into quarterback.
To, in this offseason, just, you opt into Josh Allen over Patrick Mahomes. I want you to do it. Put the onus on you. Look, the healthy debate here. If you and I had Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson as our quarterbacks, would that be better in the court of public opinion? Because Mahomes is coming off the Super Bowl loss and people in these, 2 mediocre years statistically, certainly relative to what he was before. Has he lost enough luster in social media land that Mahomes isn't the best option and it is Allen and Lamar Jackson?
It's hard to say. That's why that's part of why my strategy was like, leave it. let's get it at the end. I don't know anymore.
Apparently, there's a poll in the chat where 58% of our viewers think that you've won so far.
There you go. I agree.
58. I didn't get a chance to vote. If I had my vote in there, that would swing things. But man, I don't know about that. I feel good about my squad.
Feels fine to me.
All right, it's my pick.
Yeah.
All right, I don't have a tight end. So the only other position where we both need people is safety. Is that right? And that's not even clear who I want at safety. Who moves the needle the most? Or quarterback. But I want to make you make the quarterback selection.
Yeah, you're going to force me into quarterback.
Ideally, yes. Ideally, that would be the best play so that you can get attacked again. All right, I'm going to go. All right, I need more Lions on my team. This will be for the Lions fans. No, I'm not doing it. I can't do it. No, but I need a free safety. Yeah, all right. He's coming off all the intersect. Give me Kirby Joseph. Now I have Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph.
Now you're properly pandering to the crowd.
Yes. For the Lions, paying the bills, baby. I got Kirby. Now, they were very upset. We upset Lions fans a few weeks ago. We didn't have like best units. We didn't have them in the top 10. Now it certainly looks like I should have said they have the best safeties in the league and put that in my top 10 best units. The safety room in Detroit, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. But yeah, give me Kirby Joseph. And now I've got the Lions safeties. And as you already told me, I'm going to have Sam Laporta and their tight end. And I think we're doing okay. You can get our coworker. You can get our coworker, but that's another. You took Brock Bowers over Amon-Ra. Huh.
So far.
Interesting.
I mean, I haven't ruled myself out of the Amon-Ra sweepstakes. I still need wide receivers.
Okay. Well, you're up now. You're 14th selection here.
Okay. Well, I can fight lion with lion. I'm going to get Penei Sewell at right tackle.
Lion with lion. I'm going to have more lions. I'm going to get way more. We got to get this vote going. Can we redo the vote in the chat? Because I'm going to win now. I should just get Laporta in there quick for voting purposes.
It's a very simple equation. Simply add up the number of lions on the team, and that one wins.
That's who wins. All right, it's pretty much fill out the roster time right now.
Yeah.
So my next, I'm going to go Jalen Carter at defensive tackle. My first defensive.
Did you see what his PFF grade ended up being last season?
Mid-80s or so.
Like 73.
No, was it?
Yeah.
You had a low run defense grade. I disagree. High pass rush grade.
I was surprised quite how far down I needed to scroll to find him when I was looking this morning.
Was it really that low?
Yeah.
War had him a lot higher. My production metric, I believe, had him much higher. If I could pull that up, let's see.
I mean, I assume it's heavily pass rush weighted.
Oh, let me see where he is in my numbers. Give me a minute here.
He's like 7th in terms of pass rushing, but the run defense was 59. That dragged him down.
He did struggle early on. I chalked that up to the Brazil stadium. I hope the turf is better in Brazil for Chargers Chiefs this year. Nobody could hold the point. The footing was awful. It was like the Super Bowl from a couple years ago.
Grass. I mean, anytime, this is the thing, right? They're all like, oh, we want grass. But anytime you get grass, you get games like that.
I mean, good luck anchoring on that stuff. It was all terrible. Let me see. Did I have? Go ahead. You're up next. Jalen Carter's still awesome.
My pick. Okay.
See, I had him 3rd in my numbers. I had him number 3. I trust my numbers.
Fascinating.
What do you mean? 83% are on Sam now? That's absurd. They're just doing that. They were just doing that because I was complaining. That's wow. We're the Lions fans. Where are you guys?
Okay. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take Patrick Mahomes as my starting quarterback.
What do you mean?
You forced me into it. I didn't want to do it, but I've done it.
Wow, you just got the 10th best statistical quarterback over the last couple of years. That's going to kill you. You're in trouble.
But the number one in most people's minds, which is the important part.
Wow. You're just that afraid of Nick Wright. You're afraid. You're afraid of Nick Wright. Now I have to.
I'm just playing the game.
Tell me why.
Tell you why. I mean, look, he hasn't been the best regular season quarterback in a few years now. He is, however, capable of turning it on every time you get to the postseason. And remember, in this scenario, the setup is you are in the 2026 Super Bowl already. Who do you want to win that game? Do you want anybody to win a Super Bowl over Patrick Mahomes? No.
I mean, my future quarterback has never been blown out in the Super Bowl, never mind 2 of them. So whether it's Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. No
matter who it is, my quarterback has never been blown out.
They've gotten beaten along the way by my guy every time.
Ouch. Who else do I have? I'm just going to go through all my top players here. All right, so I need another defensive tackle.
And by the way, for the Mahomes thing, I think Mahomes has reached the point. It's like Joe Montana. There is something to his ability to turn it on the postseason. Like, this is not a case, I think, where a guy is simply like the beneficiary of some lucky bounces and like he's getting credit for this like mystique that isn't really there. Mahomes is legitimately able to turn up his play a notch in the postseason in a way that I think most quarterbacks are not. Like, we've seen enough of it now for his entire career. It's statistically proven, like it's borne out in terms of data, in terms of PFF grade, in terms of everything. He plays better in the postseason. Like, or at the very minimum, plays at a doesn't drop off the way most quarterbacks do. But actually, if you look at his stats and his data, he stops turning the ball over in the playoffs. It's like he almost treats the regular season as preseason, right? Where he's like experimenting. Let's see what I can get away with. Let's push the boundaries a bit. And then we get to the playoffs and he's like, all right, game time, cut down on the turnovers, and I'm the best quarterback in the NFL. So I think even if he has a completely rank average regular season, I think you can still construct the argument, as people like Nick Wright will, that he's unstoppable in the postseason, at least until you run into a team like the Eagles when their defensive line, and he's the best playoff quarterback.
And all that said, you picked Josh Allen over him earlier this summer.
I think it's also fair to say, look, Josh Allen in a random game in October is probably more likely to be a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. Like, and how do you weigh that in terms of who is quote unquote better? Like, what is that? What is that? Like, if the game is in February, I think Mahomes is probably a better quarterback more often than not. If the game is in October, I think 3 other quarterbacks may be better.
The point that I've made through the years is the quarterback. It's very difficult for the theoretical best quarterback, however you define best, to always be the best quarterback statistically and in wins and losses all the time, which is different from when we've always talked about the great Aaron Donald. And it's like, no matter how you measure it, pressure rate, PFF grade, whatever, Aaron Donald's always the best. For a stretch of time, J.J. Watt was always the best. Quarterback's just a different dynamic where I don't think you can do that. And that's why, like, even during Tom Brady's career, like at the totality of Tom Brady's career, I think you could clearly say he was the best. Were there individual seasons where he wasn't, or like stretches of play where he wasn't in that time? Absolutely. That's where Mahomes is right now. Any objective measure is not going to have Mahomes as the best quarterback unless you just go to wins. And in small sample sizes, I think wins are a little noisy. But I do think over time it gets you there. I still think over time the best quarterbacks are going to win the most, but maybe not enough to like separate a guy, like, if, you know, one win here, one win there. So it's just an interesting dynamic when you say who's the best quarterback. Is it this? Well, the whole body of work of Mahomes is the best, but how do you weigh the last couple seasons? How do you weigh what he's done in the playoffs versus the regular season? That's where I think it gets a little trickier.
Brady is such a fascinating case study because obviously he's a unique quarterback in terms of how long he played, how much he won, all these things. But like, I think there was a period of time where you could make a very strong case that Peyton Manning was the better quarterback, but Tom Brady was seen as a better quarterback because he won more games, or he won more Super Bowls in particular. And Peyton Manning kept coming up short in the playoffs. And that's that is kind of the Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes dynamic right now, I think, for the last couple of years. I think you can make a very strong argument that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes right now, but he keeps running into Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs and losing those games, and Mahomes ends up winning championships, outside of last year, et cetera, right? Where I think it's different is, number one, Brady then went on to have like 3 more careers, and like the totality of the evidence, it's like it doesn't matter what the first 6 years look like. Even if you say that was all fluke, right? All of it was the bounce of a ball, a tuck rule, a kick from Vinatieri. Like, if you dismissed all of his early success and said he was basically just blind lucky for that period of time, he more than made up for it late in his career by playing out of his mind and actually being the driving force of Super Bowls. But so there's that part. And then Mahomes, early in his career, that wasn't the case. Like, you couldn't make the same argument as you could with Brady, where it's like, Mahomes just getting lucky. Like, he was playing out of his mind. He was the best quarterback in the NFL. It was obvious, right? So, but it should have shows you how tricky it is to sort of nail down this, amorphous concept of who is the best, because a lot of it depends on, well, what time scale are we talking about for a start? And then, how do you quantify postseason success, which is often very noisy and very lucky, but for Mahomes is pretty consistent and clearly, a thing. I think it's very difficult.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean, and even if you're just saying Mahomes has the 3, Super Bowls, they're all one play away from going the other way as well. Jimmy
Right.
Garoppolo missing a deep ball or whatever it might be. Stop, Toby. Don't change my lighting. Thanks. Jimmy Garoppolo missing a deep, but
let the man cook.
Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy both missed deep balls that would have probably won the Super Bowl for the 49ers. So
Sure.
it happens both ways when it comes to all this.
But those two things, I think, can also be true, right? Is that a quarterback can consistently, demonstrably, and statistically, improve his play in the postseason and, become effectively the best quarterback in the NFL. But also the margins at that point are so fine that you can still be one play away from winning or losing a game. Was there ever a period in that, early Tom Brady stretch where, like, I'd have to check, but I don't think he was sort of statistically consistently elite as the best quarterback in the NFL once they hit the postseason. Like, I think you could still make the argument more that Brady was a product of everything around him and also one play away than Mahomes, where it's like he's clearly the best QB and they're still one play away.
I mean, I wouldn't say that, because you have to look at, like, Mahomes statistically this year. The last couple of years, you would argue he hasn't had the same playmakers or offensive line. That's what Brady started his career with, throwing to David Patton, David Gibbons, and guys who did nothing else really after that. It doesn't really matter.
You respect
you took
Deion
Mahomes.
Branch.
You did. Deion Branch did nothing elsewhere.
You put some respect on that man's name.
He did nothing elsewhere. Anyway, plus we see what happened with Belichick after. I saw somebody say, wins are a head coach now. Like, Belichick's had 8 seasons without Brady, and he has 1 playoff win and well below 500 without Brady. So I think we've learned more. And like the Mike Tomlin debate, with and without Ben Roethlisberger, I think we're learning a lot about the impact that the quarterback has. You could say Andy Reid's. I think Andy Reid's floor was way higher than everyone else at the head coaching position, but Mahomes helped him reach a ceiling that he couldn't reach without Mahomes. So I think the quarterback is the biggest driver in all of this. All right, it's time to make our next pick. I'm up with pick 15. Let me just get Josh Allen. I'm taking Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson. Are we going to debate that? I mean, I think that's another good one. The Lamar Jackson one, I don't know. I don't know if the one playoff run, even though I think he did play well last year in the playoffs, I don't know if one playoff run changes everything for Lamar Jackson. I also know, like, the NFL polls have him a little bit lower, and I don't know if that's still previous bias of style, like, just because it's
Nick Wright's agenda.
It's Nick Wright's agenda. I mean, if we're talking about, I have these 3 receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and A.J. Brown. Who do I trust to go out there and throw the ball 40 times, 50 times with that team? Because, like, Lamar Jackson has the Lamar game, right, that we've trademarked. He's 18 for 22 for 250 and 4 touchdowns. It's this hyper-efficient game but it's not high in pass volume. So that's where I think that actually hurts him a little bit. Now, at the end of the year, the stats look great. Like last year, the touchdown to interception ratio, it's unbelievable. But what hurts him is the passing volume and the fact that he gets so many rushing yards, and the stats end up looking differently at the end of the day. So I wonder if that's where some of the bias comes from as far as Lamar, is that the style, like it's hyper efficient, but the style is going to look different at the end of the year than, say, Allen or Mahomes or Burrow with the high volume passing. I'm still going to go Josh Allen. I think at the end of the day in the playoffs, he's been more screwed by his defense. Like every time Mahomes has a good game against them, it was Bill's defense was either hurt or just playing horribly. Like I don't think they were great play for play last year. So yeah, give me Allen slightly over Lamar Jackson right now as my quarterback.
All right. Let's see. Where have I got to go? I got to fill in some positions. All right. I'm going to finally break the dam and grab a wide receiver. I'm going to take Nico Collins. I think there's debate as to who that next receiver is. I think he belongs in that group. So maybe I'm suffering a little bit in the court of public opinion here, but I think I've gotten a receiver that's every bit as good as those top guys.
You going Nico?
Yeah.
All right. Nico Collins for you. Again, we're just filling out the roster right now. Who else do I need? All right, so give me George Kittle at tight end. Now it's about like sorry, you have George. Oh, that's right. I got to get the next tight end. You screwed me over with Kittle and Bowers. Who is the next tight end that I want? Now it's like who do I want? Who do I want to pay the right slot money to based off the draft pick? Oh, I could go Trey McBride. Oh, Trey McBride versus the Lions. The Lions army. Give me Quentin Nelson. That's the guy I definitely know I want at left guard, sorry. Quentin Nelson will be my left guard.
Okay. So I think I should go. Well, let's go. I'll take Antoine Winfield Jr. as my second safety.
It's a good one. He's legit. It's a good choice there. Linebacker is going to be interesting when I have my choices. I don't want to do my tight end debate yet. I'll take Derrick Henry at running back because my heart is saying, man, give up on Christian McCaffrey because of one injury-riddled season. But no one's been more dependable than Derrick Henry. Maybe in NFL history when it comes to running back durability. Yeah, so Derrick Henry at running back. And the people will like that more than Christian McCaffrey right now. They're souring on Christian at the moment.
No, agreed. He's not flavor of the month anymore.
You're up. 5 more selections here.
I still have a wide receiver to take. That one's interesting because it's like, do you go with the dependable, incredible success of Puka Nacua? Do you go with the Lions vote and also incredibly good Amon-Ra St. Brown, who can, play outside as my Z, still coexist with a flex option? Do you go with the young superstars and Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr.? A lot of options at wide receiver, and I'm still on the fence.
Neighbors had 3 touchdowns at training camp yesterday, in case you haven't heard.
He also ranked stupidly high in the executives thing. They put him in the top 5, I think, of wide receivers. Like the NFL people, they got him crazy high. I need a right guard, I need an edge rusher, I need a corner, and I need a nickel. So,
pick one.
I think corner is between 2. Nickel, I think, is the clearest one. Nickel's the one that I'm not confused by, so I think I'll just take Cooper DeJean.
Mustard. It's a nickel.
Yeah. That's the only one where I'm not debating, so I think it's just for ease of doing it. Just get that out of the way.
My numbers have Cameron Hayward as the number 2 defensive tackle behind Chris Jones. It goes Chris Jones, Cameron Hayward, Jalen Carter, and then Jeffrey Simmons, actually, in my numbers, my weighting. I'm going to go Cameron Hayward in this one season sample where he's still bringing it. So I'll go Cam Hayward as my defensive tackle. With
that's a good pick. I think he's still playing incredible football. The Titans apparently are turning Jeffrey Simmons loose. They're just saying, look, just get after the quarterback now. Don't worry about anything else. Just go. Disrupt. Get into the backfield. Cause havoc. I mean, Jeffrey Simmons is like right from day one. Remember, he was drafted with the injury, and it's like, that's a risk. And then his first game back, so he was a little late into his rookie year. First game back, he looked like the best defensive tackle in the NFL. You're like, wow, what a pick by the Titans. They did the smart thing, take the superstar with the injury, and now he's healthy. They're going to get paid off for it. And yet, almost immediately, it went back, and he never was play. Looks up there with Chris Jones and any of these other guys. It's just he doesn't do it as often as guys like Chris Jones. So I actually am going to be pretty interested to see if that is something they can create by just saying, don't worry about it. Just go after the quarterback. Like, forget discipline, responsibilities, just cause havoc.
Just go. And you got T'Vondre Sweat next to him.
Yeah.
Which I love that. I mean, they've got one of the better D-tackle groups in the NFL just with that 1-2 punch there.
Yeah.
I went Cameron Hayward. But now maybe if they're going to unleash Simmons, maybe I should have gone Simmons. But yeah, I've always liked Simmons, but it always felt like there was a little bit left a little bit more to bring to the table there. You're up.
Okay. I think my edge rusher is interesting because I think you could make an argument for a bunch of guys: T.J. Watt, Max Crosby. Who's the other guy from that top tier I'm missing?
Trey
Hendrickson.
Aiden Hutchinson.
So that's where I'm going to stick. I'm going to go back to the Lions and go with a guy who I genuinely believe would have won Defensive Player of the Year last year if he'd stayed healthy, and assume that he's coming back 100% healthy.
Pony's going to be all over you. Pony's going to quote tweet you and say, what is this? Where's TJ?
I mean, he might have had more pressures than TJ last year, having played like 6 minutes.
The pressure rate, Pittsburgh anti-pressure rate guy is going to get you. What's more valuable, Sam? A sack or a pressure? What's more valuable? What do you want? Almost plays. They're almost plays, Sam.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, didn't he also have a bunch of sacks last year?
The 12 Steelers fans who watch and listen to us are going to be very upset. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, 8 sacks in 5 minutes as well.
Oh, he was good. So Hutch, I still love TJ Watt. I hate that we even have to have these debates. He is so good.
Dude. Aiden Hutchinson genuinely almost matched TJ Watt's production in a third of the pass rushes last year. Now, look, I've said before that he went up against a bunch of turkeys at offensive tackle. Like, he was going to get a bunch of statistical production based off who he was playing. The schedule got tougher later on in the year, but still, it's funny.
It is. It is pretty funny. All right, so we got 3 more picks. I've got 4 picks. You have 3 left. I'm going Trey McBride as my tight end.
Ooh.
I think he could be in the next tier. You screwed me over with the Bowers selection, but I think we could be talking about McBride, Bowers, Kittle, Laporta, like maybe a slight step down. I got my Lions on here. I'm good. I'm going Trey McBride.
I like it.
Yeah, my squad's gonna win. Get the poll back up there again. I should be winning this thing. My team is gonna win the Super Bowl against you.
Yeah. Okay. I've got Patrick Surtain as my one corner. I got Cooper Mustard as my nickel. I'm going to go with Jalen Johnson as my second starting corner.
Wow. Get the Bears fans excited with that one. That's good.
I think that one is kind of a coin flip between Jalen Johnson and Quinyon Mitchell, the other Eagles rookie from a year ago. I think you could make an argument either way. Jalen Johnson, obviously, we've got more sample size there, so I'm going to go with him.
I don't know if you saw what I put on Twitter. I made a statement that I was going to pay attention, respect linebackers more this year.
Oh.
Just for myself. I feel like I will stop neglecting linebackers, I believe, was the statement. It's funny because I listen to a lot of college football media days. I love listening to college coaches speak. I love their coach speak. Oh, look, I'm winning now, 64%. I love college coach speak and beat writers following college. They always talk about the linebackers. Always, way more than we talk about it in NFL media circles. And I think I overlook linebackers too much. So I'm going to make it a point for the linebackers not to be my last 2 picks. I'll make them my second to last and third to last pick. As throw a bone to the linebackers. So in a 1-year sample, Bobby Wagner can still play. Bobby Wagner can still play. I'm going Bobby Wagner with my
You're going to have the geriatric duo?
Oh, him and Levante?
Yeah.
Class of 2012? No, I've got someone. I got old man Bobby and a youngster, most likely.
In 2026, you're going to have 2016's best linebacker duo.
That was like the Dolphins rolling out there with Melvin Ingram and who else? Justin Houston, Bruce Irvin, like every edge rusher from the beginning of the last decade in a playoff game.
Uh-huh.
They didn't have Bruce Irvin. But... All right. 2 more here. So, yeah, Bobby Wagner, linebacker for me.
Is it 2 more we got? Just right guard and wide receiver for me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to grab Quinn Miners at right guard. This is tough because I think both PFF and O-Line Twitter hashtag believe Quinn Miners is basically the best right guard in the NFL based off most recent evidence. I don't know if public opinion has caught up to that yet. Like, I feel like Quinn Miners is still very much an underrated, under the radar name.
Just a D3
guy. A dude who's out there becoming the best guard in the NFL and nobody's noticed yet.
Just a D3 guy. But yeah, you're right. That's a good selection there.
Wisconsin Whitewater, right? Is that where he was?
Don't make me know. Does it matter? It's just D3. Unless
it doesn't matter.
Nobody cares.
Where was it? The thing was in my brain, so I want to check that I'm right. Yes, it was Wisconsin Whitewater.
There you go. Nailed it. Why not Trey Smith? Walt is asking in the chat. I don't think he's...
Because I believe Quinn Miners is better. He loses less often.
My second linebacker, I'm going to go Jack Campbell. I'm tempted to go double Washington. Frankie Louvu is just fun, the way he plays. Frankie Louvu is fun. Last poll ended at 50-50. 50% have you winning, 50% have me winning. So it all comes down to the end here. But I will take Jack Campbell as my second linebacker to go with Bobby Wagner. Nice.
So that leaves me, final pick, debating who my third receiver is, and it's Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, or one of the young guys.
And now you could have had you could have 2 of those guys instead of just one Brock Bowers.
Right.
And do you regret this?
I'm comfortable.
Do you regret this at all?
No. I don't know. I don't think any of these guys are clearly better than Brock Bowers within the same offense. The question is simply which is the best between the 3 of them.
Drake's trying to say my team's too old. Drake, listen, we're playing 1 season here. All right. We're not building for the future. We're playing 1 season. My team is not too old. Bobby Wagner has another great season in him. He's got another Super Bowl run in him. It's fine. They're fine. Don't tell me they're too old.
I mean, Trent Williams is going to miss a quarter of the season based off recent evidence.
Let's draft backups. I'll get a good.
You might be playing the Super Bowl with Kendall Lamb at left tackle.
We should do a second 22 draft, but you have to pick backups. You can't pick any more starters.
And we should just randomly assign backups to people. Like this is who you're playing if things go south.
George Fant at right tackle.
Yeah,
go get him. Just signed the other day.
This is tough. I don't know which receiver to take. I don't know. More importantly, I don't know what the court of public opinion would think is the best pick. Would they think Malik Neighbors is the best guy, even though
they might? They might. Malik Neighbors, Amon-Ra. I mean, what if you have Amon-Ra? It's going to be like, oh, you just throwing slot receivers all over the place. Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
I
mean, Amon-Ra can play the slot. He can play Z. He can play all over the formation. We've seen that. Puka Nacua is a really good Z receiver as well. He can play pretty much anywhere. And then Malik Neighbors would be your true, X receiver. And then Brian Thomas Jr., who might be better than all of them if they maximize his ability this year.
Didn't you rank him higher than Neighbors this year, heading into this year?
I did, but I by 1. I separated. I did that, the thing you did where you just ranked them sequentially.
Yeah, smart.
But the executives have Neighbors higher for what they're worth.
The execs have mostly good. They all take Myles Garrett well over any other edge rusher.
I think everybody does now, though. It's like that. Yeah, that stopped being a debate a while ago.
And I get like if fans get
Pittsburgh anyway.
if fans get influenced by the PFF factor, I'll say I don't think executives get influenced by PFF grades. Not influenced in like ranking players like that. I still think, I mean, they use data in their decision making, but not when they're asked about who the best players are. So that's interesting.
I'm going to go with Puka Nacua to round out my team.
Puka Nacua. So, I mean, honest question here. Would you take Brock Bowers over Malik Neighbors?
Would I take Brock Bowers over
in hindsight now? Because I got Trey McBride. Like, you didn't screw me over that much. I got Trey.
Well, so the question, yeah, it would be like, right now my offense is Nico Collins, Puka Nacua, Brock Bowers, and George Kittle. It would be, do you want that, or do you want Nico Collins, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and George Kittle? I mean, I think you can make the argument either way. I'm happy because it's not just that. It's not just which one of those do I prefer. It's also, do I prefer the first one and you having to have Trey McBride, or letting you have Brock Bowers and going with the other way?
I don't know. I feel good about that, the way it's swung.
I'm comfortable with my decision.
Me too. I'm going to take Tyler Linderbaum with my last pick as my starting center. And that's it. Let's go through. Why don't you read out your team and I'll read out mine, and then we got some breaking news that we need to at least acknowledge here.
Let's go back and forth. I'll read my offense first, and then you can counter with your offense, and then I'll
do defense. Good idea.
My quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. My running back, Saquon Barkley. My two starting wide receivers, Nico Collins and Puka Nacua. My flex weapon within the offense is positionless Brock Bowers. My tight end, George Kittle. My left tackle, Tristan Wirfs. My left guard, Joe Thuney. My center, Creed Humphrey. My right guard, Quinn Miners. My right tackle, Penei Sewell.
All right, my offense, quarterback, Josh Allen. Running back, Derrick Henry. Oh, good luck with that. Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and A.J. Brown. Tight end, Trey McBride. Left tackle, Trent Williams. Left guard, Quentin Nelson. Center, Tyler Linderbaum. Right guard, Chris Lindstrom. And right tackle, Lane Johnson. Yes, I have an older team, but we're playing one season here, Sam.
My defense, edges, Myles Garrett and Aiden Hutchinson. Defensive tackles, Dexter Lawrence and Chris Jones. Linebackers, Fred Warner and Zach Bond. Cornerbacks, Patrick Surtain and Jalen Johnson. My nickel is Cooper Mustard Dijon. And my safeties are Kyle Hamilton and Antoine Winfield Jr.
My defense, edges, Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa. Defensive tackles, Jalen Carter and Cameron Hayward. Linebackers, Bobby Wagner and Jack Campbell. Two corners are Derek Stingley Jr. and Sauce Gardner, with my nickel being Trent McDuffie, and my safeties, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph from your Detroit Lions.
I think overall the offenses are quite close. I think obviously you have a better wide receiver trio, but I think with Mahomes, Saquon Barkley, I think I've got some good offensive linemen in there. I think my defense murders yours, though.
No, I think my offense is better. When people look at the receivers and they look at Nico Collins, Puka Nacua, and Brock Bowers and put those up against the three best receivers.
Yeah. But countering that, I have Patrick Mahomes and Saquon Barkley, and it's an offensive line that's got three of the best players at their position.
Mahomes isn't head and shoulders above. I get the two best tackles, and Mahomes isn't head and shoulders above Josh Allen. The QB is going to feel like a wash for people. Whatever. I don't know. So let us know in the chat who you think won. Which players did we miss out on? Who else should we have picked? And then we'll put this out on social and just have some fun with it. Last offseason activity of the offseason, though, for us. I mean, it's basically season time. Starting next week, we will get in. Yeah, we'll be getting into previews for each team and going from there. The breaking news. Are we ready to discuss? Yep. We have Justin Fields, Jets quarterback, has been carted off the field. We've been live on the show, so I have no other information. The first thing I just want to say is I think we see carts on the field often in training camp. And sometimes it's because of how far a guy has to walk. Like, it's not always as disastrous as it is like in the season when a cart comes out for a player. So I just want to start with that, unless there's other information out there that I haven't seen yet.
There is.
But just because.
Yeah.
Okay.
So number one, yeah, you're right. And in particular, certain places like Kansas City, for example, because it's down a hill, they always cart the guy up regardless of how serious it is. It was an apparent lower leg injury. Hang on, almost got a darn Schefter there. It is an apparent lower leg injury, the severity of which is unknown.
Okay, so that's not really telling a whole lot.
No.
If this is an issue, the Jets, who I think are very much in rebuilding mode, I was saying that the Jets are going to be a sneaky, win 7 games type of team because Justin Fields is running ability, inconsistent passing. Like that's just kind of like where he's landed as a starting quarterback. I don't think the Jets are completely rebuilding, but it's a new regime. If he's hurt, we're talking about the Jets probably not winning a ton of games, and who they draft in a quarterback next year. I mean, that's going to be the story of the season for the Jets as they're in transition from the Aaron Rodgers era. It still might be, even if Fields is not hurt, but I think all the more so. This is a compete for the number 1 overall pick type of team, and I think that's okay, especially with the way that the quarterback class could be deep next year. There's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of guys that could warrant that top pick, though.
From just trying to gather information as we go, I think Rich Cimini said it sounded like this was not a contact injury. This was pulled up after rolling and delivering a pass. So, I mean, that part would generally feel good. That it's not like somebody collapsed on his ankle and his leg is visibly in bits. This is he pulled up at the end of a play and ends up getting carted away. I mean, unless obviously a non-contact injury can be, a blown Achilles or whatever, but those are very obvious at the time and tends to be immediately reported. The fact that he just pulled up would feel like that's not, a massively severe injury right away.
The other thing, we do see a lot of just general calf injuries at this time of year and everything, which isn't, we used to kind of like joke about calf injuries, but those are the things that linger. They sometimes lead to eventually an Achilles. So even if it's a calf, that's one of those things that could end up, especially as a quarterback who runs as often as Fields and relies on his legs, that could linger this season or just, last into a few weeks into the year.
I mean, remember if that was what it is, and this is like pure speculation at this point, but Joe Burrow injured his calf, at the start of practices and training camp a couple of years ago, like right at the start, shut him down. They basically held him out for the entirety of training camp, preseason. He came back, ready to go, and almost immediately aggravated it again. And we got to see, Burrow playing this sort of inhibited version of himself for ages into the season. So, yeah, I mean, it's not obviously tearing an ACL or whatever is way worse, but just a simple strained calf can be a real problem for a quarterback, as you said, especially one as mobile as Justin Fields, because those things don't just go away quickly. Like those linger an irritating amount of time, and they can be aggravated again very quickly if you're not 100% when you do play again for the first time.
Tyrod Taylor's still there as the backup for the Jets. The chat is asking the question every time a quarterback gets hurt. We'll ask the question: is this Kirk Cousins' next destination? Would the Jets trade for Kirk Cousins? I don't think tanking is a strategy that is employed in the NFL. If you're too out there with it, you can get fined and lose draft picks, as Miami was a few years ago. That said, I don't know that the Jets should be trying to do everything. Like Kirk Cousins on this team, they're topping out at 8 wins, right? I don't know that the Jets should be doing everything that they can to maximize their 2025 win total and trade for Kirk Cousins. I wouldn't do that if I was them.
No, I mean, given where this is, right? MetLife Stadium, that turf, that weather, I don't think based off last year, it's immediately obvious that Kirk Cousins would be an upgrade over Tyrod Taylor. Now, he probably would be. We've certainly got a lot more evidence of Kirk Cousins being a high-end player than Tyrod Taylor over the past X number of years. And if Cousins gets healthier off that Achilles, if his elbow/shoulder injury or whatever he got hurt with last season was really a big part of his sort of decline late in the year, you can argue he might be a much better version of himself this year than he was last year. But like, based off the most recent evidence, it's not a slam dunk that trading for Kirk Cousins even upgrades the position.
Then you have Tyrod. Tyrod Taylor can go out there. We've said before, like, if you're just awful at quarterback, it is difficult to evaluate your receivers. Sometimes your offensive line and your defense gets put into a bind. If you're the Jets, you want to have a good evaluation of your roster this year, presumably heading into having a new quarterback a year from now. The only way the Jets would not be in the quarterback market next draft season is if Fields absolutely balled out to the point where, as a former first-round pick, you're like, all right, he's the next guy that has a Darnold, has a Geno, has a Baker Mayfield type of season. That's the only thing. If Justin Fields goes out there and plays the way Justin Fields has the last few years, the Jets are like, thank you for your service as a bridge quarterback, but we are evaluating every QB and probably drafting one in the first round. And so, I mean, I think they're most likely in that market, and I wouldn't rush to replace him if he is injured for a big amount of time here. The only thing I would do is bring in like a Sam Howell. Chat suggesting Kenny Pickett, like anyone who, like Fields, has had okay moments as a starter, and see what you have in him. See if he could not maybe be the guy, but maybe be the backup going forward. That's the only thing I would look at. I would not go get Kirk Cousins again just to like try to get to 8 wins and be more competitive.
No, I mean, the biggest impact for the Jets is if this is a longer-term injury than, just keeping him at a training camp or preseason or whatever, is you lose all the evaluation on Justin Fields. Like, they're an interesting team this year because as much as Fields has been, inconsistent and disappointing relative to what a lot of people thought he could be and to what his athletic potential is, there is still this view that, Fields could be a future Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Baker Mayfield reclamation project that works out for somebody somewhere down the line, right? Maybe the Jets is not that team, but like, it's there. I think everyone sort of sees that could be a thing for Justin Fields. And this is a real, not a make or break season for that, but this is a really important year for him to show that. If that goes up in smoke because of a random injury in August or late July, not even August, that's a bummer for everybody.
Yeah. So we don't have all the reports here. We'll see what happens with Fields here. The worst part of training camp, though, is all the injuries, a lot of stuff we talked about all offseason. Teams now have to figure out depth situation. This is where depth gets challenged, and hopefully we don't get too many injuries here during training camp over these next few weeks.
Yep.
Anything else you want to cover here? Jerry Jones comments?
I don't, but
I think our friend Ari, I'm bringing it up. Ari, I think he misread the Jerry Jones comments. I think he misread them as shots at Micah Parsons and Dak Prescott, where Jerry was simply saying players get hurt. Never know when players are going to get hurt. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, the point, though, is why bring it up in the first place? I mean, Jerry likes talking, and when Jerry talks, he says a lot of stupid things, and that gets headlines like this. I mean, the point would be shut up and do the deal. Like, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't
matter.
You
might do the deal, and then your guy gets hurt. You don't have him for 6 weeks. This is the same with every single contract in the NFL. It's not breaking news. It's not a thing that you're, bringing to the people as, hey, look at this insight I'm working with. You guys are just thinking money, but I'm thinking deep. Everyone knows that's a thing. Like, you're not, bringing any fascinating insight to the table. Just shut up and do the deal.
We paid Dak all this money. We didn't have him. Might not have him. Anybody can get hurt. I think he was just describing risk. I mean, Mike Brown came out and, it's his comments about Shamar Stewart. Like, he basically saying he could be in jail in year 4. Like, that has nothing to do with Shamar Stewart. It's just, that's the risk on the other side of the table every time you hand over a contract for someone to sign, which is understood and obvious. So maybe you don't need to say it, but I don't think it was like a shot per se, like, oh, Dak screwed us over last year by getting hurt, and so did Micah. It was more, you sign a guy for a lot of money, sometimes they're hurt, which also is going to happen. Once they do actually sign Micah Parsons, there's a chance he could be hurt and miss time. That is absolutely true.
Sure.
Anyway, that's all. Stuff went viral. Good for Ari. Appreciate Ari filling in last week when I was away as well. All right, that's it for us today. We're in the studio next week, God willing. We're going to go through team by team, previewing all the action for this year. It's your birthday. Are you doing anything fun for your birthday today, Sam?
No, I'm not. We're going from here to some bakery to try and get some of those Portuguese custard tarts that are nice. So we're hoping that works out well. After that, I'm going to the studio to finish work on it, and then late tonight, I am driving my child to a late night viewing of the Fantastic Four because apparently it's super important that her friends see this at 10:15 p.m. Rather than earlier in the day, which would have been more convenient.
Oh yeah, she really is in full teenager mode, huh?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, have fun. Happy birthday. Everybody say happy birthday to Sam.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Oh, my dad's here.
How are you?
Thank you.
Can you see me?
There you go.
There it is.
Hey.
Oh, there it is. I had no idea Dad was going to make an appearance
We'll see you in
here.
a couple of days. I'm coming down.
Nice.
He's not at all.
I'm going to sneak up on him someday.
You
surprise
should.
Him.
Definitely.
The big question is, how old today?
Same age as Steve now.
43. He's 43.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, he can't hear. I got headphones in.
Oh, good luck. Have a good day. And say hi to the
Thank
family.
you.
Didn't know Dad was going to show up, but that's kind of an annual tradition here.
You know what I mean?
All right, that's it for us today. Happy birthday to Sam.
Go Pats.
He said go Pats. He predicted 9-8 for the Patriots this year. That's his annual. He makes a prediction every year for the Patriots since I was a kid. All right, thanks to everybody for tuning in. We'll see you again Monday morning with more Check the Mic. Happy birthday, Sam.